One Piece Chapter 1079 review. And this chapter slaps. Chapter opens up with York talking to the Seraphim, and since the Marines are coming, she just tells the Seraphim to kill pretty much everyone except for her and the people underground. And she gives Snake a couple orders here. She tells her not to destroy part of the underground lab, but we don't get to see which part, so this is all just her giant escape plan. Because York is a rat. But now we get to the meat of this chapter, and we see a Blackbeard ship approaching. We don't know if it's actually Blackbeard, but I kind of hope it is. Kid sees the red-haired fleet, and he's still a little shocked that some of these guys are even with him. But that's the thing about the red-haired fleet, is they don't have a pure power structure, but having loyal men is really useful. Not everybody has to be a hockey god. Shanks orders them to retreat, and he says not to underestimate Kid, because he does have a 3 billion bounty on him. And of course, Shanks would be the first one to say don't underestimate a youngster's growth. And yet this panel I really like of Shanks just walking to the upper deck. I don't know why I like this panel so much. He's a Yonko, he's walking to the upper deck to do pirate stuff, and pirates are cool. Shanks talks to Hongo and asks for any more information on Blackbeard, but Hongo says he only has information on Kid. And Hongo just tosses him the rolled up papers, and Shanks expertly scrolls through them with one hand. And he seems a little concerned with how much rampaging they must have done to get there. Because despite being a gruff pirate, Shanks is a good guy. It cuts over to Kid, and he's so pissed that he just makes a railgun on his arm. This thing is so strong, it's pulling the ships in around it. Shanks just full speeds to the top deck. And we see Kid's cannon just splinter red-haired ships. But it cuts away to reveal that this was Shanks' future sight. And Beckman just says, looks like you've seen one hell of a future. Shanks hardly even has time to acknowledge this and just says, as expected. Until he just pulls out his sword, jumps off the front, and goes straight for Kid's face. And we see Shanks shout divine departure. Kid just says, holy fuck, am I Barbossa? And then he gets one shot. Even Killer who tried to help Kid got knocked on his ass. And after one divine departure, Shanks puts his sword away. And Kid's crew is just begging Shanks for mercy. He doesn't say a word. Before Dory and Broggy show up and say, what's up? And blow their ship in half. Then Shanks uses a new form of hockey to make the narration explain how Kid got defeated, and that a man with a 3 billion bounty and his entire crew have been eradicated. Where do I even begin with this chapter? First of all, Shanks finally does something besides just showing up. I mean, no wonder people didn't want to deal with him at Marineford. I just love the build-up of this chapter so much. The way we see Shanks' personality come through and say we shouldn't underestimate him just because he's young, while knowing that he is fully capable of one-shotting this guy. And we see that he has future sight, which that is a crazy powerful observation, Hockey. The amount of people we know with this ability are in the single digits. And I just love the fact that he uses divine departure here. He was on D. Rogers' crew as a kid. He's probably seen it multiple times. This is another pretty good example of some minor foreshadowing, the fact that, like, you could probably predict that he had divine departure, and I'm sure people have. Granted, it's just one attack, but I love the callback to his origins. And this is one of the best spreads I've seen in One Piece in a long time. And Future Sight really came in clutch here too, because if he didn't have that, that whole fleet was about to get minced. This is one of the coldest chapters in One Piece. After Shanks shouts divine departure, he doesn't say another word for the entire chapter. He just slow walks and stares menacingly at everyone. This is easily one of Shanks' best moments in the entire series, if not the best moment for him in the entire series. Things are just heating up in One Piece. Shanks is actually doing things besides just standing there looking cool, but he also does that in this chapter. And we never really get to see Shanks use his true power in this series. We knew that this dude was strong, but the way Oda usually displayed it in the series was by proxy of how other characters reacted to him, and we know that he and Mihawk used to scrap all the time. But in this chapter, we see Shanks like, no guys, I learned from the best. I might be a wholesome guy, but I'm also a stone cold Yonko. So eat this, punk. If I sound excited recording this, well yeah, it's because I am. This was a great chapter, even if it was mostly just him doing one attack. And considering he just embarrassed Kid in this chapter, I speculate we're about to see a real fight with Shanks. Obviously not with Kid. Kid isn't dead, he's just unconscious, and I think Shanks is just too nice to just outright kill Kid here. I just don't think that Shanks is one to do a cold-blooded execution of an unconscious man. Those are my overall thoughts on this One Piece chapter, and I loved it. Shanks was the first character I ever found out about in One Piece. And he's just one of those characters that whenever he shows up, things are entertaining. And One Piece is on break after this chapter, so that sucks. And this is a bit shorter than most of my chapter reviews. This is also the first One Piece chapter review I've done on this channel. But I'm going to be making more. And if you want more One Piece content, like this video. And if you like anime content in general, subscribe to this channel. And as always, thanks for watching.